Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Seeker, Cyber Combat Realm, with another video. Sorry I haven't been on much. I was very busy this past weekend. I was at an event. I won't go too deep into that. So, enjoy this little gameplay in the background while I talk. So, today we're going to be talking about spammers and people who always like to play games, or at least fighting games, doing safe and easy moves. I will say this much. It's your game. You bought it. You play however you want. But I'm still entitled to my opinion. So it's come to my attention when I play fighting games that the only thing people ever stinking do when playing said fighting games is either they spam the same safe moves that you really can't do anything about when it comes to like Mortal Kombat 1, for example. Or they'll just pull the same one string that they have because they know that essentially you can't do anything about it because of how the system essentially forces you to play a certain way rather than you playing with freedom. Um, I've had people complain and tell me, well, Seeker, you just need to get good. You have to play the game safely and etc. And to me, especially the people who are competitive and are so, they basically have their head so far up their asses when it comes to pro players. Basically, they're doing the gluck, gluck, gluck on pro players. That, to me, at least, for people who want to say that you need skill, bro, you need to get good, bro, you need to learn the game mechanics, bro, and etc., that this type of mentality basically goes against everything they say. For example, if you're such a good player, right? Actually, let me go this way. Let's pick a random character, right? And I'm going to use a made up situation in my head to better clarify what I'm talking about. Let's say you have Scorpion. Let's say he has at least 50 moves on his move list, right? 50 moves. And yet you pick only three because those are the only safe moves. Because those are the easiest moves. And the only thing you can pull off is one combo string of 30% damage, basically. And you can only do this one combo string. That's it. Right? And you can only do these three moves. But somehow, you're supposed to be a professional or a competitive player that's actually skilled. So you waste hours in the lab, and instead of learning, your move sets, right? For example, Scorpion has a spear. He has that little spin spear. He has that rush, which is basically back forward, I believe, two. You have the teleport punch, and you have combo starters, enders, and etc. And the best that you can do is three moves, you know, in the match. And once you open up with those three moves, if you do ever get to, hit the person, is one combo string that basically does half the health damage. And a lot of you will call that, a lot of you will say is, but Seeker, that's optimal. Those are safes. Those are safe. Sorry. You just need to get good and not let me punish you. Well, let's pretend for a second that Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't hand you punishes. Which it does. It does hand it to you. One of the reasons I don't really play the game much anymore. Because it's essentially a rock, paper, scissors guessing game rather than an actual fighting game. At least Mortal Kombat 11 was shit, but at least you actually could fight people. And some people would say, yeah, but, in Mortal Kombat 11, I was mostly stuck on poking lows and whatever to get into an opponent, which is not my experience, but okay, whatever, sure. I actually got comboed or spammed and etc. And again, you can play the game however you want. You bought it. It's your game to play as you wish. But I guess the notion from competitive players up to pros that you're supposed to be so good at the game, right? Because you mastered this character, but the only thing you ever mastered was three moves and then the one combo string, and that's it. And it's rather annoying for a player like me because when I play a character, right, I try to use every move possible that the character has. For example, I play in main Sub-Zero. The only reason I don't use the ice ball is because the ice ball sucks. And that's on the depths. That's not on me. It's too slow, right? But when you see me fighting and you see me do combos, yes, I only have one pop-up because, when they created the game, they thought that Johnny Cage should have like 20 pop-ups, and that's an exaggeration for those that are a little bit, not aware of sarcasm. And yet, someone like Sub-Zero basically only has one, right? And this is not counting the cameos. I don't really care for the cameos, and you can complain about that all you want. It's not going to change my mind. But I'm talking about the character itself. Let's leave the cameos out. And when I do my moves, even when I use my pop-up to get you up in the air and do combos, I always change it up. Always. And I can still beat people that way. And I'll lose matches too. But it seems that the only time, or the majority of the time that I lose, because when I lose to a person that has more skills than me, I can say good game, and I can respect it. But then, when the only thing you're doing is spamming moves that you can't really do much about, because the way that the system of the game is built isn't great. But you're a competitive player or a pro, and you only do these three moves, right? Because that's the only three moves that will get you to open someone up, or at least you can spam quickly enough so the other person can't do anything about them. Because, come on, god-awful combo breaker, 3 bars. Yeah, good idea. But so essentially what that tells me is that you don't have any actual skill. And I know some of you will go, well, it's your fault if I can beat you with 3 moves. Not entirely true. Again, I'm being very specific here. If you're using the same three moves that clearly a person can't do, right? And when they're about to punish you, they can't punish you due to the fact that you also have a cameo that keeps you safe, and you keep doing that every time you do your little three moves, then there seems to be a skill issue with you. You think that someone, and sorry if I mess up, it's hard to gather your thoughts together when you're live and recording and such. It seems to me that when a person wants to truly master a character, you're able to use every move, safe or unsafe, right? And you can still destroy the other person with pure skill. But yeah, that's not what I see. And there's people that defend this kind of mentality because we live in a generation, at least I feel, that they wanted that winning is basically the end all be all, right? And don't get me wrong, I want to win, but I lose matches because of that, and I don't really care that I lose them. I think it's more of the principle. Sorry, I had a burp real quick. The principle of, if you're such a good player, why is it that you can only do this one combo string, right? Which never changes, by the way. And you only do the same three quote unquote optimum moves in a fight. And yet, I can use all, for example, let's say again, Sub-Zero has, let's make up that Sub-Zero has 40 moves, right? This is including his specials and his combos. You use three, to generally fight, and then you use the one combo string, which is probably like 7 to 10 moves, right? Or realistically, probably like the same 4 moves spammed in different ways. Oh, well, the same way anyway. For example, Scorpion players, ever since they saw Javier, the pro player play Scorpion, all they got is their little knee uppercut, jump, punch into spear enhanced, kick, spear enhanced, cameo maybe, and then a little bit of air moves, and that's it. That's really not much. And I've noticed that's mostly every Scorpion player that I've come to fight or face. Right? And it's weird to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just old. But it's weird to me that when you think of mastering something, like a character, that you try to actually master all their moves. Safe, unsafe, optimal, not optimal. And that to me, if you win your fight, tells me that you got more skill than I do. But it's not that. It's just 3 moves. And the fact that people defend that because a win's a win, I think it's rather sad. Because at least in my time, when people spam 3 moves, one, they would get laughed out the building. That's one. People wouldn't respect them worth shit. and we didn't call them fancy moves, or rather fancy names, to make the cheap ass moves sound legit. You know what I mean? And that's not just a Mortal Kombat thing. Tekken, you can argue, I need some more skill. But again, I was fighting a Steve in Tekken and I played June. And there was no way for me, for the most part, to open up because I was getting rushed with spamming of the light button. 1 the whole entire time. And rush to 1 which is a pretty fast speed, which is a light. Sorry, I can't talk today again. Which is a light punch that has a lot of speed, and you can't entirely open up an opponent. And even if you do, they'll just get back up and do the same thing. And some of you can argue, oh, why don't you change your characters? And there's a problem right there. Why do I have to change my character in order to fight you? You know what I mean? And sure, you can make an argument that to some extent, there will always be counterplay. But in Mortal Kombat, for example, that seems to be something that's being pushed by the developers, which is not a good idea. It's not a good fighting idea, or rather a fighting game idea, that you force this idea of counterplaying. Because what's the point of mastering a character, right? And actually getting good at the character if you have to switch your main character to another character by force in order to defeat this other character. For example, Sub-Zero versus Johnny Cage, that's Johnny's win, right? So I can't play Sub-Zero and I have to switch to Li Mei because Li Mei can actually counter Johnny's attacks better. Because Johnny's a rush character. And I'm not saying the characters need to play the same. But I think that when it comes to a fighting game, at least, it's like UFC. You have people in the same weight class for it to be a fair fight. Now, not only are you fighting an opponent in Mortal Kombat 1, you're also fighting the system. You're fighting the game, the engine. Because it forces you to play a specific way that not most people, or at least people like me, want to play. I don't want to have to spam 3 safe moves and 1 combo string in order to win my matches. That's just lame. I don't want to switch my character in order to beat this character. That's lame. I want to be able to play my character, master all the moves the character has, and use them optimally. And I hate to use the phrase because I know a lot of you would take that the wrong way, but that's the best way I can explain it currently. And be able to defeat you. Not handed a win, but be smart enough to know when to use this move, that move, and etc. and beat you. Same with combos. I don't want to do the same combo string with Sub-Zero 24/7. I want to be able to switch it up and do different ones like I usually do when I play. But again, for people who claim to be competitive players, skilled players, or even pros, if the only thing you can do to win a match is 3 moves, because it's not that it's necessarily the opponent's fault. Like I said, you also have to fight the game engine and you have to fight the gameplay. Specifically in Mortal Kombat 1. So to me, I don't understand where the skill comes from. If the only thing you can do is go into a character, find a meta cameo, find a meta 3 moves, and just spam one combo string whenever you get the chance to open a person up. All game. That's it. You think someone who's actually good at a game, right, would be like, I should actually learn the whole character, not just these moves that are broken or cheap or whatever and people can't do anything about. And a lot of you won't like me saying that, but at the end of the day, that's the way I think. It's like when I first learned about Sonic Fox. When I first saw Sonic Fox, which is why I don't, for the most part, didn't respect him in the beginning, I still don't, is because I was watching one of his matches as Cassie Cage and MKX. I don't remember what year, so don't ask. I don't remember what video. This was a long time ago, actually, before I even became a YouTuber. And the only thing I can see the guy do is 3 moves, which is the kick, the 2 kicks that she does before she goes into the shadow kick. All match. The whole entire match. And to get away, he does the backflip baton attack. That's it. And that and that's basically all I saw the entire match for him to win. And personally, I can respect it and I can't respect that at all. I really don't. And I've faced other people, and I find it ironic too, because some people would get mad at the fact, for example, let's say they spend most of the match blocking and spamming the 3 moves, and then when they can actually get you, they'll do that one combo string that they can only do. But yet, if you complain about them spamming the 3 moves, right? But you grab them in the entire game, or rather, you grab them here and there because there's no other way to open them up besides grabs in Mortal Kombat 1. Then they start complaining, right? And when they complain, which is hypocritical, by the way, then they bring up the fact that you're grabbing. So they complain and bring up the fact that you're grabbing, right? To open them up because there's no other way to open them up. And then when you call them out on that very call, when they're over here spamming 3 moves and you can barely do anything about those, then it's a problem. Then they get mad at you. I already had a few people do that, which I find ironic. And no matter how you explain that to them, that you're here fighting them using almost every move in the list, right? In the character's move list. And they're only using 3 moves. Cameo. To keep them safe so you can't retaliate in any way. And then the one combo string, but you're grabbing them in order to open them up, and they get mad at you, then I see a contradiction and a hypocrisy there. You know what I mean? Because at least I'm trying to fight you with the entire character, and you're only trying to fight me with 3 moves. Plus 1 combo string. That's it. And combo strings are not very hard to learn, especially in Mortal Kombat 1, because we all know, even those that don't want to admit it, that the skill gap in Mortal Kombat 1 is very low. Now, all the combos that you would have learned if you had put time and effort to learn, hours, days, maybe weeks to learn, to hit just right, can suddenly be done in 10 minutes. I'll give you 15 minutes. You know what? I'll give you 30 minutes. And that's and you can already learn it and master it and you're good. One combo string. So, you're getting mad at the person who is kind of getting irritated that the only thing you can do is 3 moves and quickly save yourself by spamming your cameo after the 3 moves, because mostly people pick, if you haven't realized it by then, people have only been picking the same couple characters, the same couple cameos. I believe, if I'm not wrong, there's 17 cameos in the game currently. And you only see 3 to 5 out of 17 being used ever. There's 20 something characters in the roster, and you only see 3 to 5 type of characters. That's all you see. So people are basically trying to play quote unquote meta, which is another problem, because essentially that means that you don't have actual skill. You're just using what the meta is, the strongest thing in the game, or cheapest or broken, that hasn't been fixed yet, or the devs don't think needs fixing. I don't know. I'm not a dev, so, and it's their game, so they can update it and whatever how they like. But it seems to me, as a fighter or a person who plays fighting games, that things like that would say that you lack actual skills to actually learn and do things against players. See, I don't have the problem. Like, if you're doing it in single player and you're fighting AIs, cool. That's not a problem because it's just an AI and you're trying to beat single player or etc. But I find it totally different type of thing when you're facing another player, because again, when I expect to play a fighting game, for example, like Mortal Kombat 1, I expect there to be an equal level fighting ground, right? Every character has their own unique moves and etc. Maybe this character does a little more tiny damage. I don't like that. I don't like that RPG-esque, MMO-esque status effect, whatever you want to call it. But it seems to me that if you're gonna fight another opponent, that you should both have the same health, right? Your basic attack should do the same damage, and that you don't get incentivized to only spam the same 3 moves, and that there are good countermeasures to not only fight the other opponent, but to face off their cameos as well. But it seems, like I said earlier, that you are not only fighting the opponent plus a cameo, but that you also have to fight the engine. You're basically fighting the game for the most part. And yet, it doesn't help either that the people that claim to be so good at the game, from competitive players to only pros and etc., are only beating you by doing three moves. that you can't really do much about because then their cameo comes and helps them out, and you can't do that. You can't counter when you want to because the cameo come out. Then you gotta block that, and then they can grab you. Then they do the same thing, and then you try to back away, and the cameo still hits you, or they still grab you. So you're essentially stuck in this loop. That's basically it. Basically makes it unfun to play the game. And I'm not a very bad player. I'm actually pretty decent at the game. I'm actually pretty good at the game. I've actually had people DM me or comment on my live streams that I have a pretty good Sub-Zero, and I've had people add me who've beaten me by doing a 3 spam move that I have a very good Sub-Zero, but that I have to play optimally. In other words, I have to spam the three safe moves in order to get in, and then the 1 combo string. So basically, I'm being told I have to play a certain way, even though the devs told us that we can play however we choose. We have the freedom to play however we want. And yet the game forces you to play a certain way that you don't want to play, even though the devs told you that you had freedom to do so. And then you have the only pros and the competitive players and the pro players telling you that you have to play a certain way to beat them or beat anyone, which is stupid. So again, when I hear skill or the word skill being used, you think that people can use the entire character and destroy you, right? But instead, it's just Spampalooza, safe moves, and 1 combo string. And I'm sorry, I can't respect that. I don't think that takes skill. I don't want to play like that. And I'm so sick and tired of people telling me that I should play their way because a win's a win. Sure, I want to win, and I do. And I lose as well. I'm not saying I'm the best player in the universe because I'm not. But this semblance of skill doesn't really seem to be there. You know what I mean? And the fact that people don't say anything and then have this mentality of, oh yeah, it's because it clearly is because you suck. It's clearly because you lack skill. But yet, if I did the same thing to them and I started spamming the same shit, they'd be having a heart attack or they'd be throwing tantrums all over everywhere. Because I've done it back a few times. I've had players spam on me in Mortal Kombat. And just to prove a point that it takes no real skill to do the things that they're doing, I do it back and they lose. And they go and try to play me again and they lose. And then they get triggered and angry and they don't want to play no more. And then and then they start complaining about it, and it's funny because then you hit them with the same things, the same words that they tell you, and suddenly it's a problem. So when you do it to someone else, or rather when they do it to you, and you just want to fight like an actual fighting game is supposed to be, it's okay when they do it to you. You know, spamming only safe moves and doing the 1 combo string, even though you can do like 20 of them. And that's okay. But the moment that you start doing that to them, they start seeing the problem. And it's a problem for them too, that you're doing that to them. I made a Johnny Cage video because one of my buddies, when I first started this channel, was bragging how he was so good and I'm trash and etc. Right? So to prove a point about how brain dead Johnny Cage is, or rather, Johnny is what all the characters should be doing, to be honest. Johnny is actually a good character, but the problem is that all these characters are such shit and lack any variety in popping up and doing the things that Johnny can do, which mostly everyone should be able to do, in their own distinct way. But you can't do that. So the characters are basically low leveled. Johnny is actually pretty decent. So I switched to Johnny and I started doing everything my buddy was doing, but on him. Well, actually, no, that's actually false. I wasn't good with Johnny, but I still managed to do, because I have this mentality as a fighter, a fighting game player, where most characters play the same, and that goes across a lot of games. You can play Grand Blue and still manage to pull off some combos, knowing that the previous game you played can do similar things. You can play Tekken doing the same thing. You can play Guilty Gear the same way, Blaze Blue, etc. Where you can pull combos and certain special attacks by already having knowledge of another fighting game. So I used Johnny to make the point, and I beat him every time. He was not very happy about that. He beat me like once or twice, but that's only because he started spamming Reiko's stars. But eventually I got through that and still destroyed him. So he wasn't too happy about that. And I just laughed and I said, look, for people who claim that they're so good and so awesome, you literally spend 5 minutes looking up YouTube videos instead of learning the game mechanics, which that's fine. You went to try to do the same shit you see every other pro player and competitive player do as a combo and started spamming saved moves and etc. into one combo string that you have that takes a lot of damage, by the way. Because there's a genuine lack of defensive skills. There really is. The game is bare bones. And there seems to be a bit of that sort of issue with Tekken, at least in my view. And I am the first to admit that I suck at Tekken. Wholeheartedly. I'm still new to Tekken. But I can still get my wins. But I notice that the people who I played Mortal Kombat with that now are in Tekken 8 are trying to pull the same stupid shit that they pulled in Mortal Kombat 1 now in Tekken. Now the problem that I find with Tekken is that there's literally, or at least not to my excuse me, I'm sorry, I keep burping a lot. At least not to my knowledge, some sort of combo breaking skill. I know that June has a counter, right? And I use that. I know that there's I think they're called heat smashes or something like that. I'm not talking about the animation you do to get into heat mode. I mean, like, well, I guess they do get you into heat mode as well. But yeah, to basically like kick someone off of you if it hits, because they can break through that too. But essentially, if you get slammed into the ground, there's not much you can do except try to get up. But if you're hit on the ground, but in order to get up, you have to be laying down on your back in Tekken. It's not like in the air you can't like roll back onto your feet or like roll on. I don't know what the correct term is called, but you get my point. There is no way to quickly get up unless you're on the floor already. But when you hit the floor, you bounce up and you can still do combos on people. And there's nothing to defend from that. Because then you have people like this morning when I was fighting Jin, Devil Jin, in fact. I was fighting a player who the only thing that they were doing was spamming their laser, which you can't do anything about except sidestep. But the moment you sidestep and you try to go at them, you get lasered again. And trust me, I've tried very different things to do to avoid that laser, and I still got fucked by it. And then when they get you close, they only got the one little combo string that they know how to do that ends with a little laser attack. And that's it. And that's all they do. But you think that people that are actually skilled would actually learn more than just those 3 moves. Or that one move and a combo string. And I'm sure a lot of you will argue, oh, it's a skill issue, bro. If that's what you think, good for you then, I guess. There's no way. There's no changing your mind. But I think those are bitter problems, especially in Mortal Kombat 1. And Mortal Kombat 1 has combo breakers, but then it's a 3-bar combo breaker. And if you do it to enhance and do a wake up, you can't even use your enhanced moves, because the moment you start doing enhanced moves, then you're open up to get fucked. So I have to resource manage in a fighting game in order to pull you off of me, which is stupid, by the way. I don't know why they thought a 3-bar combo breaker was a good idea when it's not. When they used to have the combo breaker be 3 in every round, which was good enough. And then you could just enhance your characters because they weren't part of the enhanced bar. That's another stupid idea. But again, I just don't see the skill when you're literally spamming 1 to 3 moves that are only safe, because how dare you not play safe, apparently. Which takes away the whole freedom aspect of playing a character and learning the fucking character and all their moves. So you're playing 3 basic moves, and then after the 3 basic moves, you're doing 1 combo string, right? And if you decide to counter break or combo break the 1 string, then you might get fucked and you can't do anything when they grab you or they open you back up with the whole spammy thing. So you're telling me, again, that takes skill, but me playing the character with all their skills and abilities, except for 1, because Sub-Zero's Ice Ball is total trash. I've only hit it twice, and by mistake. Again, sorry. So, I'm the problem because I choose to play all of the characters' moves, despite them being safe or not, and can pull out all these combo strings, right? Let's say there's 30 moves, or let's say there's 30 moves / combos for Sub-Zero, right? 30 moves, 30 in his move list. You're only hitting me with 4, right? Let me give you 7 at least. You hit me with 7, which is mostly, I guess, that most people do if you count the 1 combo string, but it's mostly just the same move. And I'm over here using 20 something, even though he has 30. And I'm only here using 21 different moves that he has out of 30. But I'm a bad player because I don't play safe. And the aspect of using safe moves, and I don't spam the same 3 stupid safe moves to get a win and 1 stupid combo string when I can use all of them. And I have won most of my fights due to that. And I've also lost, which is fine. And I'm not mad about winning and losing and whatnot. I just don't like when someone tries to insinuate that it takes skill to do 3 moves because they're safe. They're safe in one combo string. And yet I'm over here actually learning to master the whole entire character, or most of it at least, and doing different things every time. But I'm the problem, and I don't have skill. And how dare I not play safe by using these 3 moves? How dare I not just do one combo string? And how dare I grab I'm sorry. And how dare I grab someone who's blocking the whole game and spamming 3 moves and one combo string? How dare I decide to grab to open them up? But I guess that's it for my little 40 something minute rant. Tell me what you think. Just make sure you keep it respectful. Because if you don't get mad if I give you the same treatment. So then you don't go around acting like you're on a high moral horse and be like, but this guy, no. I'm going to treat you the same way you treat me. So keep it respectful. Give me a like, give me a follow. If you got topics for me to talk about, put them in the comment section. Sometimes, I'm busy. Sometimes I can't come up with anything to talk about. And that would help. And at least I'll be talking about certain things that, you guys are interested in. I have a Discord if you guys want to join, and you can talk to me there. The link is on my bio, and it's going to be also in the video description. If you guys want to help me out and support me, I have a GoFundMe that you can donate to if you wish. That's not something I'm going to force on anyone. That's just, if the kindness of your heart tells you to, go for it. If not, that's fine too. Keep an eye on my live streams, because I'm going to be live streaming Sifu a lot in these coming days or weeks. I'm currently playing it on master difficulty for my first try. I finally got to beat the big boss. Well, at least not the big boss, the first boss. So now I'm on the second level, which is even harder because apparently you don't get young again. So I got to play as an old person. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you again for being here and listening to me rant, talk about things, etc. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. See you later.